Un campeón se crea a partir de su entorno. Hay que extraer los elementos para el éxito. Para luego fusionarlos con presión y fuego. Solo así se forjará un campeón. Esto es el Copper X Prix.
Hyperdrive now.
Yes, so we're here in Chile, Antofagasta, for the Copper X Prix.
I think being here in Chile feels like we're on another planet. The scenery is incredible, and the track itself is quite rallycrossy. It's quite wide, it's purpose-built. I love this track, it's really cool, a big jump, some big features.
Last year, for me, it was one of my favorite tracks, so hopefully this year we have a good race here.
I think being here in Chile for my debut is probably extreme, as extreme he is. I'm very happy to be teaming up with Clara. She's been giving me a lot of advices so far. I will try to do my best.
The final two races of the year now. This course is really unique. I think it's a cool place to have a season finale because there's a lot more predictability, I guess. It's wider, there's more options, I think, for a lot of people to have a good weekend here.
I think it's always the goal to come to the last event of the year within the reach of the championship fight.
With these double headers, it's so many points up for grabs, and I learned in Extreme E that anything can happen, so always be open-minded, but of course we want to win.
For us, our weekend plan is pretty clear. We've just got to go for it. We've got a really good shot at the title still, but we have to have really good results. This is one of the tracks that I haven't done yet with Extreme E, and from what I can see, it looks like a really fun driver's track.
At the moment we are leading the championship, but it's just 3 points, so it really doesn't count for anything, as there are still a lot of points up for grabs. So for sure it will be a difficult one, but it's the same for them. They also have to have a clean weekend to have a chance.
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 10 world-class teams made up of one male and one female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV, with a driver changeover known as the switch halfway through. Each driver gets an Anoa hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 5 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 5 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the X Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle. 10 rounds, 1 champion. Ahead of the thrilling action of the Copper X Prix, championship drivers Christine GZ and Patrick O'Donovan gave us a sneak peek of what the drivers can expect from this extreme track.
Hey guys, Christine GZ here.
And I'm Patrick O'Donovan.
And right now we are in the Antofagasta Mineral
Continental Copper X Prix track guide.
Hey guys, welcome. We're here at the start line. As you can see, super wide, very hard terrain. And there's pretty much a little bit of a changing over there at waypoint number 1. So let's see what the drivers pick for the whole shot at waypoint 2.
Waypoints 3 to 5. the infamous copper carousel corner. This steep banked corner will give a great opportunity for drivers to overtake and sink it up the inside.
So here we are, waypoint 6 to 9. This is the only part of the track that changes compared to last year. We have a brand new jump, pretty smooth and nice, and followed by a big compression.
Waypoints 10 to 13, a really exciting part of the circuit. You've got some massive blind crests, and then as you go up to waypoint 12, you've got a blind crest over the right. You've got to keep it absolutely flat, full commitment down to 13. The Continental Traction Challenge, it's absolutely vital. There's 5 championship points up for grabs. On this track, it's from waypoints 10 to 18. You've got jumps, you've got crests. It's going to be cool.
Okay, so here we are, waypoint 13 to 15. As you can see, there's a huge blind class. Drivers will have to stay committed here, get directly into waypoint 14 here at the bottom, and again, another blind crest over there. As you can see from waypoint 16, we're gonna arrive with a little bit of air time from this blind crest, fall directly into a right-hand camber, which is pretty gnarly, and then directly into this amazing jump flat out.
Waypoints 19, 21 and across to the finish is one of the most exciting parts of the circuit. As you come through 19, it's a left-hander, you've got some off-cambered corners, and then you've got this kicker jump. This kicker jump kicks up the back end of the car as you come over, super fast, and then you're straight across the finish line.
The final 2 rounds on the calendar are in Chile, and with 5 teams still in contention for the title, it was all to play for as we headed into the first qualifying session of the Copper X Prix. It was a brutal start, with all teams getting in on the action.
Christopherson coming around the outside, Hansen gets a bit too sideways. Christopherson inside now, contact between them. Somebody got away with murder there. But it is Kevin Hansen out front. RXR get up into P2. A lot of pressure though coming behind from McLaren.
Contact between Johan Kristoffersen and Tanner Faust meant disaster for RXR.
We have a puncture, rear west.
RXR are pretty much out of this.
Further up the field, main contenders Acciona Sainz fared no better when they encountered technical problems.
The championship leaders have pulled over in the first race of the day. This is a disastrous start for them.
Allowing Molly Taylor to bring home the win for Veloce Racing.
Good job, buddy, good job.
Next up was Heat 2, and it was Carl Cox Motorsport that was fastest off the start line as the grid battled it out for position.
Hansen passes McConnell, contact between them. The X44 into the Andretti Autokilid.
Chip Ganassi Racing's title ambitions then took a huge hit.
On a roll! That's off that crest!
As RJ Anderson clipped the inside banking and rolled his Odyssey 21 out of contention. This created a slow zone, and after the driver switch, Carl Cox's Leah Block was passed by both Katie Munnings of Andretti and Cristina Gutierrez in the X44 machine, with the Spanish driver on a mission.
Gutierrez carries speed up the inside of Munnings.
Great job, Chris. Let's go.
Over the line, X44. Gutierrez takes it.
Well done, Chris.
With all teams pushing hard for position, there was another dramatic race in the second qualifying session.
What a roll! Big roll. Clara Anderson goes over. She's binned the App Cooper in turn 1. Red flag straight away.
The pressure was still on after the restart, but it was Veloce's Molly Taylor that emerged at the front of the pack.
Leah Sands has got up the inside of Katie Munnings. So it's Molly Taylor for Veloce, and in P2, Leah Sands for Acciona Sainz. That's a great start. Oh, the Veloce's got a puncture front right. It's off the rim, broken suspension. Leah Sands moves into the lead. Oh, massive hit and a roll. Munnings has gone over after running out the back of the stricken Veloce.
Yeah, I'm okay, but flashing reds, can I get out?
The race was restarted for a third and final time, using a staggered start, which was based on position of the cars before the big crash. The rest of the race went without incident, and Sainz took the checkered flag, securing their place in the final. On to the final race in qualifying, and off the start line, the drivers kept their distance to avoid any further incidents.
Block with a great drive, but it's Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski who claims second. Gutierrez leads for X44.
X44 stayed out in front after the driver switch, but a mistake by Fraser McConnell a lap later gave RXR an opportunity for the lead.
Christopherson passes Fraser McConnell as he runs just a tiny bit deep.
Kristoffersen stayed out front all the way to the finish.
RXR do what they need to do to put that car in the grand final.
After the eventful qualifying session ended the championship hopes of Chip Ganassi Racing, The remaining contenders, RXR, Acciona Sainz, X44 and Veloce Racing, went through to the grand final, with McLaren taking the final grid spot. The incredibly sad passing of Chip Ganassi racing driver Carl LeDuc has deeply affected the Extreme E paddock. A few of those that knew Kyle most closely shared a few words ahead of the weekend.
Having Kyle leave us this year was a tough thing, I think, for everybody in the championship. But he was the ultimate competitor, the ultimate fighter, and never gave an inch to anybody, and we'll miss him.
My memory of him is just his passion and his total commitment behind the wheel. And, you know, he had some incidences on track, but he always entertained, and it was such a sad occasion to hear of his passing, and, you know, but his memory is going to live on with all of us.
This weekend, all of my preparation has came through Kyle. That guy was literally a legend behind the wheel.
Back home, not only the LeDuc name, but Kyle LeDuc himself was a trailblazer in the sport of off-road that we do at home, short course, and more specifically Pro 4. He has always built his own vehicles, and he's progressed the sport over and over and over, never settling. I raced against him, and he was one of, if not the fiercest competitor on the track. He always wanted to win, and he did it in the total Kyle LeDuc style.
The thing that was truly special about Kyle is he found balance with his family and his passion of motorsports. I would watch him perform week in, week out at the highest level, and then put the same commitment into his 2 young children, into FaceTiming his wife. He wanted to make sure his family was behind him 100%.
Kyle LeDuc was a great part of the Extreme E community. He was always in great mood, always smiling, always contributing to the great vibe, very committed to also the values of Extreme E environment. He was always participating in the legacy, and his legacy will live on. Kyle, we will miss you. Rest in peace.
Extreme E's race locations are chosen carefully based on the story they tell about climate change. This round we're in Chile, looking at some of the innovative solutions to our climate battle, one of which is the circular economy.
So many of the key environmental problems of our times are due to our behavior as consumers, consuming materials for our sole use and then dump it away. So this use and throw economy has really led us into a problem of waste and a problem of pollution that we need to reverse. And the way to reverse this is learning from nature and establishing circular economies in the way we use materials and the way we use produces. So in a circular economy framework, we avoid the huge problem of waste accumulation that creates pollution that affects the lives of humans, but also affect the lives of wildlife.
Here in Chile, we've seen examples of the circular economy in motion at the Cerro Dominador solar thermal plant. Plants similar to this power the Antofagasta copper mines, allowing them to harvest essential copper to sustain the increase in renewable energy. Extreme E contributes to the circular economy by championing renewable energy sources, such as solar, wind and hydrogen. Hydrogen will play a key part in the solar economy, powering heavy industries such as steel. Electric vehicles are forecast to account for 2/3 of global light vehicle sales in 2035. Studies have shown that the typical break-even point in carbon emissions for EVs was about 15 to 20,000 miles. From that point onwards, you'll be positively contributing to the circular economy.
So the energy transition requires many elements that need to be thought through in the context of circular economies. In the Atacama Desert, where we face those challenges of how to reconcile precious water resources with wildlife, with the metals that we need for the energy transition, we're also witnessing solutions coming to life. One of them is that Antofagasta Minerals is no longer using fresh water for their operations. They're pumping seawater using renewable energy from the ocean to the mines and covering all of the workflows that require water from seawater. So continuing the way we have been using products and generating waste is no longer an option. So enabling circular economies in every product that we manufacture every activity that we engage on is a fundamental for a sustainable future.
On to the redemption race, and due to the dramatic rolls earlier in the morning for Andretti Altaquilat,
Oh, massive hit! And a roll! Munnings has gone over after running up the back of the strict and Veloce.
and Abt Cupra,
Clara Anderson goes over, she's binned the Abt Cooper in turn 1.
they were unable to fix their cars in time for the race, leaving only 3 cars lined up on the grid: JBXC, Carl Cox Motorsport, and number 99 GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. The extra space off the start line gave Carl Cox Motorsport the opportunity they needed.
Great start by Scheider on this side. Really, really strong start, and then waits and uses the hyperdrive after he's got traction. That's absolutely stunning off the line.
A mechanical failure for JBXC and a 13-second gap in front of Chip Ganassi Racing gave Leah Block the chance to fly through the course undisturbed.
Seconds when they started, and Leah Block's in full send mode.
With a clear path in front, Leah Block crossed the line in first place.
It is a win for Carl Cox Motorsport. Great result for them.
The youngest competitor in the championship, Leah Block, has had an incredible year in Extreme E, teaming up with Timo Scheider for Carl Cox Motorsport. Growing up around motorsport and adventure, it's no wonder that Leah's future is looking so bright.
I'm Leah Block and I race for Carl Cox Motorsports. I was born in California, but I grew up in Utah, and Utah is a very outdoorsy state, I would say. So I did a lot of mountain biking, a lot of different sports, a lot of skiing, snowboarding. I think I definitely tried every sport, and I didn't really make my way to motorsports until I was about 10 years old. Growing up in my family, my dad was a big part of motorsports, and obviously I traveled around with him. So always being at either a racetrack or in the rally pits, I just grew up around it. My dad never pushed it on me. He only gave me the opportunity to go and try it. And after I was done trying everything else, I went to motorsports. I started in Lucas Off-Road Short Course Series, and then I made my way to karting. I've done lots of different types of racing and motorsports over these last couple of years, but I've been really focused on rally, and now coming to Extreme E. I've also done some circuit racing. I just really love it all. I got into Extreme E when I was in Miami with my dad, and we went and saw Timo, and he asked me, what did I think about it? And I was like, I don't know, I don't know much about it, but I just knew as my dad had been one of the first people to drive the Odyssey. But I think it looks like a pretty cool series. The cars look kind of like spaceships. A couple months later, Timo called me up and he was like, what do you think about being my teammate? And I was like, send over the details, let's do it. So that's why I'm here. And I'm really excited to be doing it because it's a really fun, different type of racing. I think Extreme E is just so unique because of the different tracks and the way that you can make your own lines, and then the aspect of switching drivers in the middle of a race and how off-road that it is. I think it's a really cool opportunity that it's 50-50 for females and males. Have the same amount of racing, the same amount of driving. So I think it's really cool, and it's something that race series aren't doing, and something we should see more of. To be honest, I don't really think of my age. I just think of myself as a driver, and I'm here competing against a lot of amazing drivers who have had so much more experience than me. I've raced a lot of different race series over the last couple of years, currently doing Nitro Rallycross as well as Extreme E, and I recently just won the Open Two-Wheel Drive Rally Championship in the US. Next season I will be racing in the F1 Academy for Williams, so I have big goals. I would say to win a world championship is one of them, but I have a lot of years ahead of me, and I like to use every racing opportunity to make another step towards my end goal.
It all comes down to this, the grand final of round 9 of the Copper X Prix, featuring 4 teams who are still in contention for the title. Rosberg X Racing, Acciona Sainz, X44 Vida Carbon Racing and Veloce Racing, with Neon McLaren taking the final grid spot.
Green light and away, and in the middle of the grid, it wasn't a good start for Kevin Hansen. He's been left on the line, so a retirement for Veloce at the start. RXR with a brilliant start. X44 on the inside line. Fraser McConnell got passed by Christopherson earlier. They are 4 wide on the run down to turn 1. Ekstrom with the whole shot. Christopherson looks up the inside of McConnell, gets it to P2. Fraser drops down to 3rd. The leader is Matthias Ekstrom. P2, Johan Kristoffersson. 1 and 2 in the championship, 1 and 2 in this final. Here we go.
Yes, this is absolutely what we wanted to see. Sainz just staying in there and RXR just doing everything they can. It looks like they're going around the inside. Have they got that space? They haven't done it, unfortunately for them.
Veloce's hope of staying in the title fight died on the start line, with a technical fault taking them out of the running, leaving RXR to chase down championship leaders Acciona Sainz.
Now, Kristoffersson is within striking distance of Ekstrom, looks towards the inside line, runs the car out wide, going to try for the outside pass. He's late on the brakes as they head down into the switch zone. They're absolutely side by side. Oh, this will be tricky for them. Ekstrom drives over the dirt on the inside, takes a shortcut. Why is Ekstrom pulled off to the inside?
Surely that's not you're not able to do that. You have to follow the racing line, don't you?
He's within the waypoint, so in theory there can't be a penalty because he hasn't missed a waypoint. Ekstrom's so clever with the regulations. I don't think there's anything in the regs to stop him from cutting across that dirt.
Any advantage gained by Ekstrom's shortcut was lost as a sand cloud swept across the track.
Leah Sands saying she couldn't see. Is that the dust that's blowing across the car? She's looking for the signal and she can't see it, so Sands needs to get released. Super close now. They're telling her to go. She couldn't see because of the dust. So the dust blowing up at just the wrong moment. RXR have got out in front.
Now with the advantage, RXR's Arlen Kotelinski had to fight off constant pressure from Leah Sands.
Looking to the inside line, Leah Sands trying to find a way past. So a disaster for her on the release, but she looks to the inside again, maybe compromises the entry speed. You're on board with Sands. She runs the car wide, looking for exit speed. Sideways for RXR. Leah Sands gets a better run down the hill. Both onto the exit. No hyperdrive for the Leah Sands and the Acciona Sainz squad. Oh, just has to tuck back in behind the RXR machine. Raggedly sideways, desperately hanging on to that. That's been a hell of a ride.
Sands kept her determination strong, but a hungry Gutierrez was right on her tail.
Great job, Chris. Keep it up. You're quicker than them. Let's go. Come on, Chris.
Gutierrez on the inside line of Leah Sands, late on the brakes. Can she make that pass up the inside again that she did earlier on today? She can't. Leah Sands runs the car wide into the dirt on the outside. She knew Gutierrez was coming. She didn't let the pass happen. Gutierrez passed Munnings earlier on there today. Not this time though. Gutierrez with that has actually dropped back from the leading 2.
Cover left, cover left. Vamos, no levantes, no levantes, no levantes.
Arlen Kotelinski through the left-hander, just a couple of bumps to avoid now. It couldn't be closer in championship points. It couldn't be closer as we come down to the finish line. She uses the Unoa hyperdrive to blast the RXR machine over the line and take the checker flag in round 9. Acciona Sainz right there with them. It's almost a photo finish between our championship rivals, and they will have to do it again tomorrow to decide the champions of Season 3.
Yes, that's what we needed. Thank you, Miguel. Great drive. Thank you, team.
The win, alongside qualifying and Continental Traction Challenge points, put RXR back on top of the championship standings, with Acciona Sainz only 6 points behind, leaving the 2 teams as the last remaining contenders of the championship fight, with the battle for the trophy going down to the wire when we return for the final round of Extreme E Season 3.
Finishing first today, of course, it's great for the championship. It's always nice for the win as well. I mean, we have to try and enjoy the moment. It's the 3rd win of the year. It was a nice battle with Matthias, and then Mikaela had a nice battle with Leah.
Yeah, started off a bit tricky in Q1, but then had a good Q2 and was amazing fights with Johan and Matthias, and going into the switch, and the party trick he did there was exciting.
I had a few looks in the first couple of corners, but he saw what I was up to and covered the lines nicely. And then I did a small mistake at one point and he pulled away, and then he did a small mistake so I could close the gap going into switch zone. And then I knew he was having to go to switch bay 5, which is the furthest away, so I decided to go on the right-hand side to try brake late and have a freeway going into my switch bay together side by side with Matthias, and put Mikaela in the best possible position to try and fight against Leah.
Leah was super quick, so just tried to keep her behind me, and feels good to bring home the win for the team. New day tomorrow, important points for the championship, but feel very open.
Yes!
course, it's always nice to win a championship. I think it's also strong from Rosberg X Racing to be in the championship fights for the 3 seasons that the Extreme E has been. So yeah, that's always great to be up there. And now we face the same kind of last day of the championship tomorrow, which is always great to have that experience together before. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better result this time than we had last year.
X44 have won this championship.
The work in between the driver pair in Extreme E is super important, and me and Michaela lives only 60k apart from our hometown, so it's always nice to be able to sit at the same table and do all the preparations and also the debrief after the races.
We've been driving together for 2 seasons. We've been in this particular situation one time before, and he's a very chill person and always keeps calm and so on, which goes over to me, which is very nice. So I just take the good qualities from him, try to learn everything I can, and whenever he sees that I'm starting to maybe wind up a bit, it's like, calm down, everything's good.
There is some really fast teams and fast drivers out there, so we just have to try and improve every small detail that we can. And of course, tomorrow is going to be exciting. It's always fun to come into the last day of the championship and be in contention for the fight to win the championship. So yeah, we'll just try and have a good sleep and then enjoy tomorrow.
I think you always want to win, no matter if we had the end of the season like we had last year. So of course it would mean a lot to win.